sitters. We're about to go live on IMSA TV as well. If you are so equipped, it's time to go qualifying here. Hello everybody and welcome to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. It's the second to last competitive weekend for the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, and the drivers and teams have to get to grips, literally as well as metaphorically, with one of the most challenging pieces of hard-standing tarmac anywhere in North America. Just on 2¼ miles with 11 corners and action areas down at the Andretti hairpin, heading up the Rahal straight to the corkscrew, but also at the final turn 11 as well, where there's a heavy outbraking opportunity there. It's John Hindhaugh and Jeremy Shaw in the IMSA broadcast booth, with qualifying having just gone green for the GT Daytona category. Shea Adams, our Continental Tire pit lane reporter, on what is a perfect day. Our commentary point just on drivers left as they head up the hill between turns 4 and 5, and just rattling past us two mainly white cars, the 33 AMG GT4 Mercedes, Jerome Blakemolin qualifying that car, and the 63 of Cooper McNeil, the WeatherTech Ferrari on home turf, through the corkscrew, with the clock running just the 15-minute session here. And Jeremy Shaw, tight margins, we're expecting to see that. There's no worry, all the drivers have been talking about grip around here this last week, last few days rather. Here in qualifying, that's not an issue, because a brand new set of Continentals on there. It's about how quick you can get them up the temperatures, pressures, and how you can use them in the opening laps.
It is, and it's going to be a really interesting qualifying session, I believe. There is number 86 car, that is Katherine Legge. She's still got hopes of the championship. It is 13 points behind the number 48 Lamborghini of Brad Sellers and Madison Snow coming into the final two races of the season. But that car was fast this morning. Katherine set the third fastest time, just a tenth away from Patrick Long in the Porsche, and in between them was the Mercedes, car number 33, and Madison Snow in the Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini. He was right there as well, just a few ticks behind in the fourth position. And then there's the Lexus, as Shea was saying. So, hey, wide open at the moment, I would say.
All 13 GT Daytona cars are on the 2.23 mile circuit. Just under 12 minutes still to go. Bill Auberlen is qualifying the 96 Turner BMW, which this weekend is in red, white and blue colours of Liquid Moly, but good to see those guys back. Justin Marks in the 93 Acura, Katherine Legge, as Jeremy has just said, in the 86. Patrick Lindsay will qualify the 73 dark grey Porsche, the Park Place car. Frankie Montecalvo is in the number 64 Ferrari, and we have 3 Ferraris this weekend. 63 is Cooper McNeil, as we've mentioned. 58, Pat Long was the last man to leave the pit lane in the red and white Porsche of Wright Motorsport. We have got at the top now Justin Marks and Katherine Legge, just gone through 1:28.5. Blakemolin 28.9, and it is Jerome Blakemolin in that 33 car. So Justin Marks and Katherine Legge setting the pace early on. Qualifying record here, Jeremy, as far as the GT Daytonas are concerned.
That would be Madison Snow 1 year ago at a 1:24.469. Again, the fastest time this morning, a 1:24.6, so fractionally outside it this morning. Madison Snow then in that Lamborghini at an average speed of 95.381 miles an hour.
Interested to see how the different cars deal with getting their tyres up to temperature and pressure, and when the drivers feel confident enough to push, as Katherine Legge drops down the hill towards the final tight left-handed corner that leads onto the start-finish straight. A bright green number 4 on the side of that car. That's where she stands in the standings at the moment, and she jumps up to second. Katherine Legge drops in behind championship rival Madison Snow. So the two leading cars in the Drivers' Championship, the 48 Lamborghini and the 86 Acura, are first and second on the timing screen, with Justin Marks dropping in behind his teammate, 2/10 between first and second, and Blake Mullen goes to the point. Blake Mullen in the 33, the Riley Technologies AMG GT4. Blake Mullen, one of the big hitters in this championship, an extremely fast and experienced driver, and that green and white Mercedes-Benz looking resplendent in the afternoon sunshine here. Local time just before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been sunshine all through this morning. So Madison Snow at the moment down into second position. Patrick Lindsay, what a season or so he's been having. Absolutely outstanding stuff. And the 73 car up into third position. Mercedes, Lamborghini, Porsche, Lexus, Acura, Ferrari. Top six different manufacturers. Exactly what we like to see, Jeremy. The Lamborghini going through there of Madison Snow. Now, he's just come out of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo race in which there was a very nasty accident for Sheena Monk at the top of the corkscrew.
Yes, indeed, and it was very frightening. We've just had seen a tweet from IMSA to say that Sheena Monk has been transported to a local hospital for further evaluation. She is awake and alert. That's an official tweet from IMSA. That's the information we can bring you at the moment. So that's certainly positive. That was a very frightening time. And
keeping the association going, Sheena Monk's driving coach has just gone to the top of the timing. That's Katherine Legge, the 86 car, 1:24.4. All of a sudden these times have started tumbling down. 1:24.456, Jeremy.
New track record for Katherine Legge, but it beats the old mark by 13 thousandths of a second. Brilliant lap from Katherine. She'll be highly motivated, as you suggest, after that incident for Sheena in the Lamborghini race. But what a great lap time that was. That's by far the fastest lap of the weekend so far in GTD, and what a time to do it. And the car behind her on the grid is Madison Snow, last year's pole sitter, the championship leader, all to play for. Jerome Bleckermont, that car, number 33, Riley Motorsports Mercedes AMG, that's been fast all weekend as well, and is right there knocking on the door of the top two. Where's Patrick Long? He's down in 8th position at the moment, so I think he's just building up to a good lap. I'm sure there's more to come from Patrick Long in car number 58, the Porsche. Patrick Lindsay, by the way, is in 4th position. The Park Place car making its return to the IMSA WeatherTech Championship this season.
And Jeremy,
Patrick Lindsay's home race.
That was third when he put that time in before Katherine Legge leapfrogged to the top from 4th position. The Lexus may struggle here. They have been typically this year finding it difficult to keep life in the rear tyres, and this is a circuit that does take it out of all of the tyres. So maybe a good starting position for Jack Hawksworth in the red number 15 Lexus, or Kyle Marcelli in the blue 14. Maybe that'll help them a little bit, but at the moment they're sitting in 5th and 7th position, with Jack Hawksworth just trying to find a little bit of room. No, he's coming in the pit lane. Very, very classy driving by Hawksworth, who got out of the way to make sure that he didn't impede anybody else's lap when he was touring back in, trying not to take too much out of the tyres. Katherine Legge in the pit lane from provisional pole position.
That's good, because it's showing us stops on the racetrack at the moment. Katherine, by the way, she doesn't have yet a pole position to her name in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. Katherine, she qualified. That was a big off.
That was Justin Marks, her teammate in the red Acura.
Turn 5, heading off up the hill. But Katherine, she did qualify second at Detroit, driving there with Mario Farbacher, who was the super sub with Alvaro Parenta, regular co-driver committed elsewhere that weekend, and that pairing converted that front row grid position into a race win. But right now she still stands at the top of the charts with a new record time of 1:24.456.
98 days ago, that win at Detroit. Has to win this weekend to keep it under triple figures. Where do you think I got that from, Jeremy? A small voice in my ear. Thank you, Shea Adam.
I thought I was an anorak for a number.
No.
Goodness gracious me, 98 days.
Yeah.
Holy moly! How many minutes?
No, don't even go there, because honestly, she'll start working on it right
she
now.
will, sorry.
We'll know by
I'll
race
retract
start
that comment.
tomorrow. 5 minutes to go. Here comes Patrick Long out of the final corner. Uses all of the runoff. The red, white and black Wright Motorsport Porsche across the start-finish line.
It is an improvement up into 4th position, then just fractionally ahead of Patrick Lindsay in number 73 Porsche. That's Patrick Long.
Is he still on it? I think he's still on it as he comes through turn 3 and into our sight underneath the Continental Bridge.
Yes, he is.
Madison Snow in the pit lane. Yeah, Pat Long is still on it as he goes past us now. We're just to the left of where the Wright Motorsport Porsche is. Into turn 5. Camber helps you here. Slightly banked corner. Get it tucked in. And then get on the power because you're climbing all the way. Over the top of the brow, there's a left-hand corner. You can't see that. You have to turn in and believe that the track is still there from the last time. Of course, it would be odd if it had moved, but it's something to do with your brain. You've got to turn that bit of self-preservation off and turn into something that you can't see. Now down through the corkscrew. Pat Long losing a little bit of time in that first sector. How's he done in the middle section? As he comes through now.
No, off the pace.
Off the pace. He may peel off into the pits. He'll see that on his dashboard. Does he stay to the left-hand side? Yes, he does, and he's in the pits.
Yeah, and it's a little bit surprising, isn't it? Because often we see the GTD Daytona car staying out for the whole session and going quicker and quicker and quicker. But we've heard all this weekend long that tyre degradation here is a major issue. The tyres are really at their peak for a few laps and then they drop off quite a long way. And judging by that last lap by Patrick Long, he was significantly slower in the first sector, even though he appeared to be on the gas coming past us here in the exit to turn 4.
3 Ferraris this weekend in GT Daytona, including the beautiful number 51 from Spirit of Race, wearing the Italian tricolore colours. Francesco Piovanetti behind the wheel of that car. It just looks fantastic. Even better in the Californian sunshine this afternoon. It really pops out of the background, and the photographers, it's a photographer's favourite, I'll tell you that now.
Yeah. So this is going to be a career first pole then for Katherine Legge in her 47th start in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, and what a great effort by the English girl, lady, beg pardon.
Driver. Good lap from Katherine Legge.
Yeah, she'll be thrilled with that. I mean,
yeah,
it's a great reward and a great motivation for this Maya Shank Racing with Kurt Bagajanian team going into the final 2 races of the championship. Had a couple of slightly disappointing races recently, and this pole position will certainly give them a lot of impetus going into tomorrow and the final 2 races of the 2018 championship.
And by the way, a great bit of compartmentalisation from Katherine.
Yeah, man.
She will have been concerned, as we all were, to see her pupil. She's mentoring Sheena Monk, and Sheena had that big accident, as we said, in the Lamborghini race. There will have been concern there, but no thought of her not qualifying the car. Got into the zone, thumbs up from behind the wheel. The checkered flag is a minute away, but with everyone in the pit lane, there isn't time for anyone to go out. Pat Long improved on his last lap before he pitted. Who else improved? Kyle Marcelli, but not really moving up the positions. And Jack Hawksworth as well improved.
Carl just did 3 laps in that number 14 Lexus, and he ended up quicker by just over 1/10 of a second than Jack Hawksworth, so a feather in Carl's cap for sure. And the Lexus, they're always pretty hard on their tyres, notoriously hard on their tyres. So they will be trying to keep their Continentals in as good a shape as they can for tomorrow's race. But to have the top 7 cars within 0.6 of a second, the top 9 within 1 second on a 84-second lap, very competitive.
Very competitive indeed, but that's what we've come to expect. 15 seconds to go. The NSX engine will fire up in a moment, and Katherine Legge will be confirmed as she rolls down the pit lane towards our Continental Tire pit lane. Reporter. The checkered flag is up in the air above the head of Dennis Paul, our starter. Everyone is in the pit lane, and Katherine Legge takes her first pole position in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. And I think, and not that this really should make any difference nowadays, I think it is the first female pole sitter. Is Christina had a pole? I don't think so.
No.
I can hear the engine fired. An important landmark for Katherine as a driver. Her first pole position in the championship, and she took it by over 1/10 of a second from championship contender. The closest competition to Madison Snow and to Brian Sellers is Katherine Legge, and she will start alongside the championship leaders tomorrow on a race that you'll be able to see and hear on IMSA Radio, on IMSA TV, and on XM Sirius. That's Sirius 138 XM 202 if you're in the US. Katherine has brought the car to a halt, puts it in gear because that part of the pit lane is on quite a steep uphill gradient. And if she hadn't done that, and here's Madison Snow actually just pulling up alongside in the 48. That's pretty classy before he goes behind the wall. Katherine out of the car, 2 thumbs up. And if she hadn't put the car in gear, it would have rolled back down. Takes off the helmet and the hands device, and we'll head down to our Continental Tire pit lane reporter, Shea Adam, for this first career pole. And there's a little golf clap from Jeremy and myself for Katherine Legge taking her first career pole, and the Acura will start on the point in GT Daytona tomorrow.
Way more than a golf clap from me. Way to go, girl. First pole position. It comes at the time when you guys need it the most. You're going for this championship, and you're starting ahead of and alongside your championship rivals. First pole, first silver to get pole this year. What does it feel like?
Wow, is that right? Yeah, first pole in a GT car for me, so over the moon with that. I think it's actually my first pole in IMSA, so mega. The team did a really good job and gave me a really good car. You know, we've been working hard on our qualifying setup and our race setup, and they're, you know, very different. So thanks to them, and yay, now it's all about tomorrow. Tomorrow's a long day as well, though, so I'm not counting my chickens.
How important is it, though, to have that clear track ahead of you going into turn 1 and turn 2? Because people forget about turn 1 here. That little kink on the uphill where we're standing, that's important.
Yeah, I think of turn 2 as turn 1 for some reason, but it's going to be important to be at the front. You know, we really need a good result here, or we really need a good result at Petite to be in with a shot at the championship. So with the 48 car qualifying P2, it was important that we're right around there, and so being 1 spot ahead is mega, as I would say.
Well, and it was second here last year, so you only got 1 spot to improve as well. It shouldn't be that hard.
Did I qualify second last year?
No, you finished second here last year.
Did we? That was, I tell you what, that was all Andy Lally. That was nothing to do with me.
Well, this was all you and the crew, guys, so go celebrate a little bit tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take that instruction from Shea Adam, says Katherine Legge. Great stuff from Katherine. And remember, this was a car, Jeremy, that wasn't meant to be in the full championship season, but only doing the longer races. He gets to put the Pole Award sticker on the front fender of the car. And it's been such a good season from Katherine. And let's not forget, Jeremy, that she has had to deal with swapping and changing of co-drivers, because Alvaro Parent, who's back with her this weekend, who was meant to be her co-driver for the 4-race season, which he will be for the longer races, he hasn't always been available. So it's not been the perfect run to be a championship contender. And yet, the money's been found by MSR, and Katherine, being congratulated by her dad there, has continued to put in the performances. I mean, you know, it's about concentration and application, and she's come through all of that.
She certainly has, and I'm not quite sure when the last pole would have been. I was just looking back through my records here, and she had 3 wins in the Atlantic Championship, Toyota Atlantic Championship in 2005, but the best starting position there was on the second row, which she did on, 4 or 5 occasions. But I can't remember when the last pole was. It was probably in the UK before she came over here. Maybe I'm missing something, but whatever. We know Catherine's fast. She always has been, and she there quite rightly delighted to get that pole position. It's a really fine effort. She put it all together there. She put a good lap in this morning. Clearly they made some strides with that car, getting it onto the pace overnight, and she took full advantage of it.
Welcome along. If you're joining our live coverage from WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, I know many of you have been enjoying the 24 hours at Barcelona, and coming to the end of our evening coverage of that event, and clearly one or two of you switching over to our sound and vision here to watch the pole position. The news is that Katherine Legge has just taken the pole position for GT Daytona, and it will be Madison Snow, the championship leading Lamborghini, that lines up alongside her in the race tomorrow. Jerome Blake-Molan will start in 3rd position in the 33, the Mercedes he shares with Ben Keating, and Pat Long is on the outside of the front one in what is effectively his home race, a good California lad, and the 58 Wright Motorsport Porsche capturing that outside of the second row late on in that session. Coming up next, GT Le Mans, and the 8 cars have been, well, tied together with a very short bungee cord, to be honest, if they were all going out on the circuit at the same time. The Fords dominated the first couple of sessions, the 67 from the 66 in the first 1 hour session, then the 66 from the 67 in the second. But this morning, with rather different track conditions than we have now, Jeremy, it wasn't the Fords at the top. They were struggling a little bit in the warmer conditions, which may, in the cooler conditions rather, which may not be as bad as it looks, because we expect the race tomorrow to be run in the sort of conditions we have round about now, actually.
Yes, absolutely true. And there was a big step up overnight by the Porsches and the BMW too, to be right up there in the reckoning. Top 3 cars separated this morning by about 0.3 of a second, but a really good lap from Nick Tandy. A 1:22.839 was the fastest time of the weekend so far. That was set this morning in the 3rd practice, FP3. The qualifying lap record for GTLM set by Tony Vilander last year in a Risi Competizione Ferrari, a 1:21.9, so almost a full second faster.
Right, let's go through the qualifiers. In the black number 24 BMW, Shea Adam, who do we have qualifying?
Yessie Crone, the recent birthday boy. He's getting to drive most of the day. John Edwards saying this morning he has a leisurely day, gets to stay in jeans for a lot of the time. So it is the Finnish driver who is looking for his ever first pole position in the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship.
And that 24 BMW, one of a number of cars that are carrying the tribute sticker to Robert Wickens, and wishing him all the best in his recovery after his IndyCar accident, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. The white BMW, the 20, which one did we start with? I've now forgotten. The other BMW, sure. So it was the 24 that we started with, so the other BMW, please.
The one that has a victory to its name.
Yes.
That would be the
last
driving duo of the Brit and the American. It's the Brit who's getting to qualify. So Alexander Sims, another one looking for his first ever pole position in this series. His teammate Connor De Filippi got one at Sebring, remember?
Yes, he
and then
did.
He didn't know what to do, so he just drove back behind the wall and avoided me for an interview. Haven't let him forget that.
Had a long chat with Connor De Filippi this morning. Alexander Sims then taking out the 25, which is the white BMW. What's next in line?
The number 911 Porsche would be the next one in line.
Okay.
That is the man who was fastest this morning, Nick Tandy, who also did a lap record around Brands Hatch last week, John, that you were watching. So he's going to see if he can get...
Close to.
Well, he's going to see if he can get another pole position, because right now Richard Westbrook is leading the all-time GTLM poles, and Nick has an opportunity to tie him up again.
The Porsche just coming down off its jacks, and Nick focusing intently behind the wheel of the number 911 Porsche RSR. Second of the Porsches then, the 912. Who is doing that, Shea?
His co-driver from the 2015 Le Mans 24-hour winning car overall. That would be Earl Bamber, who's looking for his 3rd pole position.
Excellent. So that's Tandy and Bamba in the 911 and the 912. Next up the pit lane.
66 Ford.
Okay.
The one, the only Dirk Mueller. He only gets pole positions at Road America, though, where he has 3 from the last 3 years in a row. It'd be something if he could break it and get one here.
And the other of the Fords?
That would be Mr. Ryan Briscoe. So they are saving Richard Westbrook for the second half of tomorrow's race in case that fuel saving needs to come into play and the fluffy pink bunny slippers need to be broken out.
Well, he did it here, didn't he, a couple of years ago. And the 2 Corvettes have already left before she even managed to get to them. But
I know who's in them.
I definitely saw Ollie Gavin in his number 4 Corvette.
Yep, and it's Jan Magnussen and Ollie Gavin who are doing the qualifying duties today. Both of them already have pole positions. So the only newbies, or the only guys looking for their first ever pole positions, are the 2 guys in the BMWs.
Right, okay, thank you, Shea. 15 minutes already ticking down. The Corvette's out very quickly indeed. Ryan Briscoe went out in the 67 Chip Ganassi GT. Earl Bamba is the one of the 2 Porsches that went out. That's the 912 car. Now, we've seen in the past that it has taken a couple of 3 laps to get the Michelin tyres that the GT Le Mans cars are all using this weekend, although it is an open tyre formula, of course. Other manufacturers are allowed to come into this particular class, but nobody has so far. The Michelin's, a lot of work going on with the Michelin engineers in those 3 hours of practice, Jeremy, from all of the manufacturers here, all of the teams here, to work out which version of the Michelin tyre was going on which corner.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting to see what the choices are, and this is going to be a very, very interesting qualifying session. Yesterday it seemed, as we've been hearing, that the Fords was the car to beat, first and second in both of the sessions yesterday, but turned around this morning. And look, we've had 9 races this season, 8 different pole sitters. It was just the last round at VIR. We had the first 2-time GTLM pole sitter this season in Richard Westbrook, so it's a remarkable record. And I don't know, I'm not sure who'd put money on here,
No.
quite frankly.
Jan Magnussen, in his time racing in America, has only had 1 year that he hasn't notched a victory. He's not got one this year left yet, and opportunities are running out for the affable Scandinavian.
Yeah, 2012 that 1 year he went winless. He's got 10 wins to his credit in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship since the LMS days.
Negotiates the corkscrew and falling off the end of the world. Tucks the car into the apex of the left-hander as he comes down the hill. The camber of the road changing, helping you out a little bit through the penultimate corner, and now all the way down the gearbox to the final corner. Get through there, try and keep a little bit of pace in the car without it pushing too wide. Comes to the end of his first flying lap. Well over 130 miles an hour as he crossed the line. But it's his teammate who goes to the top. Ollie Gavin, the first man to get ahead of the GTD time of Katherine Legge. Magnussen didn't. That's a feather in Catherine's cap right there as well. 1:24.2 for Ollie Gavin. Huge lock up by the Porsche number 912. Earl Bamba over exuberant. And that will cost him dearly. Left front Michelin locked up for a long way. He falls off the road at turn number 3. This is scrappy by the Kiwi. He'll be annoyed with himself.
Well, a couple of times this season he hasn't quite put it together, has he, in qualifying, Earl Bamba, which is certainly surprising. But if he hasn't damaged those tyres by either the lockup or the off-course excursion, he'll be pretty fortunate, and maybe he will be able to have a good run at this. But Jan Magnussen, he has had 1 pole this season. That came at Daytona in the first round of the championship.
In the second, Ryan Briscoe for Chip Ganassi, and the 67 car is just 0.084 of a second away from Ollie Gavin as Earl Bamba throws the Porsche number 912 down the hill. 2 more corners for him, just about keeps it on the island as he comes down to the final corner. Porsche looking a little bit of a handful. Didn't really want to turn, and then the back end breaking away before the apex of the final corner. Here comes Bamber then. Has he improved? He's got a 24.8 to his name and doesn't improve.
Improvement by both of the Corvettes on this most recent lap. 22.7 for Oliver Gavin. Clearly the fastest lap of the weekend by about 1/10.5 of a second over Nick Tandy, who is yet to complete his first flying lap around in this session. Most of the other contenders have already done 3 laps. Purple again there in sector 1 for Oliver Gavin.
Once again, Corvette racing team finding pace when it matters, and where it matters is in qualifying and in the race itself.
Alexander Sims splits the Chevrolet.
Wow,
in kind
that's
of
a great
25. 122.972 for Alexander.
That's the fastest BMW lap this weekend so far.
He is by a couple of tenths. Jesse Krohn turned a 23.1 this morning, number 24 BMW.
24 being the black car, 25 being the white BMW M8 GT Le Mans. Here comes another Corvette across the line, and it is Ollie Gavin again. Does he improve?
Not
he
quite.
Doesn't, but my goodness, that's another by 0.09. Check that, 0.009
Right.
of a second.
Right.
That's 2 very quick laps. In fact, that's 2 laps that are quick enough for pole position. Right there, he has the 2 fastest laps, Ollie Gavin.
Yep.
Here comes Alexander Sims. He's out the corkscrew and coming down the hill.
Well, Bamber did improve on that last lap, a 23.1 in the number 912 Porsche. Nick Tandy still not yet got himself on the map, and he's on his 3rd lap now, and it's still not going to be a particularly quick one. He's across the line in 6th position. He's ahead of Jesse Krohn in number 24 BMW, but a 124.0 for Nick Tandy in car number 911.
Alexander Sims did the fastest middle sector in that
Yep.
white BMW, but did not improve his last time, but he did his best 3rd sector as well, so maybe he's just winding up to something here, Jeremy.
He lost a fair bit of time in the first sector, lost 3.5 tenths of a second compared to Oliver Gavin. He needs only to find less than 3 tenths to move ahead of the Chevrolets, because Jan Magnussen now back up in the 2nd place. He did that on the last lap, didn't he? 22.9 that time for Oliver Gavin, so he's done a couple of 22.7s and a 22.9.
Oh, big wiggle coming through the penultimate corner for Ryan Briscoe. Don't think he lost too much time there.
No.
And he's on a decent lap. He's going to be close to moving on to the front couple of rows here, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's 4th at the moment. Comes across the line. Doesn't improve. Loses just again a little bit of time in that final sector. A 23.2 that lap for Ryan Briscoe. His best, a 123.055. That was set on the previous lap. He's completed 5 laps, as most of the contenders have done. Where's Nick Tandy?
He's just done another best for him, but he's not going at it the way everyone else is. He's gradually finding time. It's interesting to see the different ways people are attacking this, but we've seen pole position set at the last yawning moments, have we not, this year?
Very much so, I have. And this racetrack, however, at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, it is pretty abrasive. It does tend to chew up the tyres. Clearly, Michelin here has a very stable and consistent tyre with all of these drivers now, even on their 4th or 5th laps, turning laps within a 10th of a second or so of their fastest. Lap 5 just completed by Earl Bamber. He was his best, but he remains now in 6th position in car number 912.
Down to 6 minutes remaining of the 15 with which we started, and everybody exploring the very, very outer edges of the circuit, dropping a little tyre over the exit curbs. Nick Tandy coming to the final corner, brakes impossibly late for the slowest corner on the track, and this should move him up. He's on another personal best lap, crosses the line, heads towards the Andretti hairpins, and he hasn't lifted off.
Nope.
And Tandy does improve his time, and in fact goes ahead of Earl Bamber up to 6th position.
Yeah, but Ryan Briscoe is up into third place in number 67 Ford, a 22.850 Ford in number 67 Ford GT. The Australian, so it's Englishman Oliver Gavin that leads at the moment, 122.700. Teammate Jan Magnussen from Denmark in car number 3, 122.806. Ryan Briscoe, 122.850.
Huge slide from the Kiwi Earl Bamber. He's not going to be quick, but my goodness, he's spectacular coming out of the corkscrew. Not quite on the lock stops, but I bet he wasn't more than a quarter of a turn away from it as he was coming down there. Improvement from Jesse Kron now means that the whole 8-car GT Le Mans field are within a second, comfortably within a second.
Yeah, but he's the margin from first to fourth is 0.440. Jesse Kron is another 4 tenths away, so he's quite a way off the other guys at the moment. Let's see whether he can pull something out of the hat in the final few minutes.
Huge slide from Earl
loose,
Bamber. It's not a happy Porsche, that car. It doesn't help that Earl's all over the curbs, in fairness, either. Yeah. He's just monstering it a little bit too much at the moment.
I think you're right. I think he might be trying just a little bit too hard. But it's super tight. I mean, it really is close at the front here. We've got the two Chevrolets, the Ford, the BMW, the Porsche, and a Ford and another Porsche, all within just 4 tenths, or just over 4 tenths of a second. Improvement for Nick Tandy. He remains 5th place in car number 911, 122.990. So he becomes the 5th car to get below 123. The lap record last year set by Tony Vilander, it was a 121.904. So we're nowhere near that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for the second race in a row, we're nowhere near the lap record.
Ford to second.
Pretty good.
Ford up to second. Dirk Muller splits their Detroit rivals as Dirk Muller is now just 0.087 away from Ollie Gavin, who's in the pit lane. 3 minutes to go. Corvette have put their money on the table and they're waiting to see if someone's going to snatch it from them at this point, because both of the vets are in the pit lane. Ryan Briscoe in the 67 Ford in the pit lane, and Muller's working up to another one. Not quite as quick in the first sector. He's lost a couple of tenths to Ollie Gavin, but that Ford is very quick in the middle and the middle and the last part of the track. Into the corkscrew for Dirk Muller. Neat, tidy. But what's his times like? Goes all the way to the right-hand side of the track, coming down the hill. No. Might be peeling in. I think he's coming in. No, oh no, he's not. He's going to have one more go. He's got the time, Jeremy. There's still 2.5 minutes to go. Catches the inside of the final corner, and that may have messed up this lap before it even gets started.
He certainly carried a lot of momentum through the apex. They use every inch of the road, and you can see a puff of sand up when he gets right up to the edge of the asphalt on the exit of that corner.
So out on the circuit at the moment, still the 66 Ford Dirk Muller, both of the Porsches, Nick Tandy and Earl Bamber, and the 24 BMW of Jesse Kron. They're all hoping to improve their position. Down 2 gears for the Ford as it turns in left-handed.
31.3 first section. No.
Dropped his right rear wheel off, and now he's having to clean up his tyres.
Yeah.
Now, as he whips past a little gecko sitting, enjoying the sunshine, and being disturbed by the 3.5 litre EcoBoost engine, no doubt. He will get one more lap if he wants it. And the team will be asking him now, do you think it's there? Do you think you can find 0.087 of a second? And any respectable racing driver will be saying, yes, of course, I know exactly where I lost 0.087 of a second. I can do this. Leave me out. Leave me out, coach. Leave me out. Another big moment for Earl Bamber.
That car is really loose.
Yeah.
Big oversteer on most of the corners here. They're being very aggressive with the setup.
Well, you don't have to start the race on the tyres on which you qualify now. Probably just as well. I think Earl Bamber will want to see the back of the setup, and these tyres are absolutely done. After what, half a dozen 8 laps? Clearly hasn't been to Earl's liking here, and he peels into the pit lane.
Yeah, that was his 10th lap.
Right.
He's completed more than anybody.
Right, the Ford's just gone past us, Jeremy. So we'll get a split time in a moment. Again, he's losing 2/10 in that first sector to Ollie Gavin. Is he going to be able to make that up? The car is very quick. Advanced aerodynamics on the Ford GT. Always hard to tell from the engine note. No, he has definitely lifted off. The checkered flag is out. Nick Tandy has seen it, doesn't improve. He will be 6th. 7th for his teammate Earl Bamber.
So the Porsches, having been 1st and 2nd this morning, find themselves 6th and 7th.
Second pole position for Ollie Gavin in WeatherTech competition.
So neither of the two Porsches are even matching their times from this morning. That is interesting.
Different conditions, in fairness, this morning, Jeremy.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
So Ollie Gavin can add WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca pole position to his pole at Daytona a couple of years ago.
3rd IMSA WeatherTech Championship.
3rd, is it?
Pole, yeah,
right.
in total.
Where was the other one then? Jeremy's now going to have to look that up, having thrown that. He's thrown that into the ring now, and now he's going to have to back that up with evidence. Both of the Corvettes are rumbling purposefully up the pit lane towards Shea Adam. And our second of what will be 3 pole sitters just gets the car into a position where it's not going to roll away. The cameras join it at the end of the pit lane. The door is open, and Yardley Hastings' finest sports car driver claims a pole position. Shea Adam is there for IMSA Radio and IMSA TV.
Ollie knows what to do, but it's been a while as he takes his gloves off. Beautiful new gloves, have to say. He's a man who knows very well how to be quick around WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. 4 wins here in ALMS and the merged series competition. He's good at Laguna Seca, it's fair to say. And Ollie actually had to work for that. A little bit of sweat on the brow of the Englishman. Congratulations on another pole position. It's this track, isn't it? This just suits Corvette and it suits you.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's always great to get pole position here at Laguna Seca, but it's thanks to the team and the crew and everybody. It's a massive team effort to get us back to being on P1. It's been a little while for myself, but yeah, I'm thrilled. But this is only a very small step in trying to achieve what we want to achieve tomorrow, and that's the victory. Yeah, once the green flag drops tomorrow, this is kind of a little forgotten. So. Yep, I think we've got a very good race car. Yeah, obviously the car fell in nicely there for qualifying, but the C7R has been strong all year. We've had an amazing team and great strategy, pit stops, and we just need to once again execute tomorrow. The competition is at an all-time high, it seems, in GTLM, and to be able to beat those guys here today is pretty satisfying. But like I say, tomorrow, that's when the real work starts.
I know Doug Feehan always says pole positions don't really matter, but still, Daytona, Road Atlanta, and here, those are 3 prestigious places to have a pole next to your name.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great to have. It's nice to have this little moment, and it's great for the guys. It gives everybody a nice little fill up and a bit of confidence going into the race tomorrow. So yeah, we'll be pushing like crazy at the start tomorrow, and we're working hard through tonight, just making sure we've got everything covered and we're fully prepared for the race tomorrow.
We'll make sure to have a nice glass of wine tonight to celebrate. Congrats, Ollie.
Thank you very much.
Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. 2015, I think, wasn't that when he had the Daytona pole as well? So he had Daytona and Atlanta in 15. Nothing since then.
Right. So bookending the season there in 2015 with poles, but yeah, almost 3 years then for Ollie to be on the pole position here. But that was a great effort, and the sister car of Jan Magnussen just a 1/10 of a second behind, but in third he will start 3rd for tomorrow's race. Super tight at the front, 3/10 of a second less than, covering the top 6.
Might not be the worst. Might not be the worst for Corvette Racing because they start line astern in that. So they can control the inside of the circuit there.
Yeah, that's it could be important going down to the Andretti hairpin. Absolutely
Very
right.
happy.
And this has been a happy hunting ground for Corvette over the years. 7 wins here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, but but none since 2014. So that's been a little while now, 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 years ago since their last win, and they would love to get one here this weekend, and particularly for Jan Magnussen and Antonio Garcia to keep their championship lead in place. But of course, Ollie Gavin and Tommy Milner, they're in 4th place in the points coming into this weekend, but they're still only 17 points behind Magnussen and Garcia.
Yeah, so still could play an important part in the championship run in. Ollie absolutely delighted about that, and I saw some really lovely pictures of the family holiday. He had a couple of weeks away in between the last 2 races, and the first thing is, I can't believe how big all his kids are now. So I remember them when they were tiny, when he was first coming over here, brought the then family over, and decided it'd be a good idea to have an RV for the summer season. We really need to get Ollie to write that book on that first season. It was an interesting time for the family, Gavin. So we are left then, now that Katherine Legge has claimed GT Daytona pole for Acura, and Oliver Gavin has claimed GT Le Mans pole for Chevrolet Corvette. I make that 2 English pole sitters. It's not bad.
That's a couple of races running, I think.
Yes. And it's always been an American on the overall pole to wrestle that back. So we've got the prototypes ready to go out. I can tell you it will be Eric Curran in the distinctive red helmet, who will be in the Whelan Cadillac, the number 30 car, as Shea Adam has the rest of the starting drivers or qualifying drivers in this Continental Tire pit lane update.
Well, they are both, in theory, if they don't take a penalty and move to the back of the... I'm not going to get Jeremy started on that. If we go from the head of the grid down, because I haven't yet made my way all the way down, we have Eric, as you rightly say, and Joao is qualifying the number 5 Action Express car. Colin Brown, who has taken pole position a couple of times so far this year, is driving the number 54 Core Autosport car, the one that's won the last 2 times out for the prototypes. It's Jordan Taylor behind the wheel of the 10, the glossy black Cadillac, as Renger told us he would be a little bit earlier on. It is Misha and Robert, the 2 for the JDC Miller Motorsports organization. So that is for the 99 Red Dragon and the 85 respectively. Dane Cameron is in the number 6, so he shares with Juan Montoya. That means Montoya will be driving the second half of the race tomorrow. And Elio going for a pole position in the number 7, the sister car, Penske Team Acura. In the 2 Mazdas, we have Oliver Jarvis given qualifying duties his first time here in the number 77, and Jonathan Bomarito, local hometown hero, is driving the number 55. For the 2 ESM machines, Pippo Durrani is in the number 22, and Scott Sharp is in the 2. And finally, for the number 52, the PR1 Matheson Orica, AFS colors on the side, it is Sebastian Saavedra trying to go out and take pole position for this team in their new car on their debut weekend.
So if England are going to do better in qualifying than they are in the UEFA Nations League at the moment, at home to Spain, where they're down 2-1 with a couple of minutes to go, it has to be Ollie Jarvis to get this done and have the clean sweep for the English drivers. The Mazda has been quick. Is it quick enough on a racing circuit that has meant so much to Mazda down through the years? There would be a bit of an irony, wouldn't there, if it managed to plonk itself on pole position or get a result here this weekend in the first year of the new partnership here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. I have a strong suspicion that there would be many congratulations, though, still from everyone here. Where's your money, Jeremy? Made some BOP changes.
Renger van der Zande is certainly on a bit of a charge this weekend. He's been quickest.
But it's Jordan qualifying that car.
Yes, but I think
He's
Jordan's
had pole here before, Jordan.
Absolutely. So I think he's going to be strong. The Mazdas looked good in that last session this morning as well. I mean, they made big strides from a struggle in the first session yesterday morning. I wouldn't certainly count out the Mazdas.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. The global P2 cars 10 kilos heavier and 3 litres of fuel fewer in those cars, with a landmark BOP change between the last 2 races. It's the first time that the LMP2 cars, the P2 cars, have been BOP'd anywhere in the world. Next year, of course, they will run in their own series, their own championship class. So, out immediately, Eric Curran and the team car, the Mustang sampling car. Sorry, who did we put in the number 5? Did you say it was Joao Barbosa? Shea that was in the 5? Thank you. Jordan Taylor's out early in the glossy black Konica Minolta Racing Cadillac. Here's another category where we've seen in the past, and there rumbles a Cadillac by, where we've seen the guys stay out there to the bitter end of the 15 minutes. The Whelen and the Mustang sampling cars in close proximity to each other as they climb the hill. Neither of the Penske's, the Acura team Penske cars have moved. And Pipo Derani still on the pit lane as well, although he's moving now. Hasn't yet got out of the pit lane. We did put Colin Brown in the 54, didn't we, Shea? That was the case there.
Well, we didn't, but the team did.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and you never count out Colin. Obviously, as we've seen
by far the quickest of the P2 runners.
How potent he is, yes.
Second and more faster than the next best P2. He is a force of nature.
Yeah,
I wonder if some of the other
of a wave in terms of confidence, isn't he, right now?
I do wonder if some of the other P2 runners might have been saying to IMSA, hey, never mind BOP and us, can you not just BOP that Colin Brown guy? Because we can't get anywhere near his times.
Yeah, hats off to the AFS PR1 Matheson Motorsports team, Carlo 52, Sebastian Saavedra and Gustavo Jacobin. Brand new car for that team this weekend. And Orica, as with Core Autosport and of course JDC Miller Motorsports, running the same Orica Gibson combination. And getting used to that car for the very, very first time, having run Legge for the rest of the season. And this morning, really good lap by Sebastian Saavedra, was within a gnat's whisker of Simon Trummer's time, number 85 JDC Miller Motorsports car, second and third fastest of the global P2. So going to be interesting to see what that team could put together in this qualifying session in car number 52. Local team, of course, based in Fresno, California. So they've had a lot of success here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and all sorts of different cars over the years.
Dane Cameron has left the pit lane. Elio Castroneves still to trip the sensor, but he is rolling. So the two Acura team Penske cars, the last two to go out. We've seen this before as well, as Colin Brown comes to the line.
We have, and they too, they are very definitely contenders for the pole position this afternoon.
120.6 for Colin Brown. That's the opening gambit. Didn't look to be leaning on the car too much. Oh, and he's caught one of the Penske's straight away on his second flying lap.
Not quite.
Maybe hoping. Oh, and a little bit of a mistake by the Mustang sampling number 5, with Joao Barbosa dropping the left-hand side Continentals onto the dirt in the early part of the lap. Locked it up going into the Andretti hairpins. That put him wrong there and going very, very wide. So that lap, I'm afraid, is completely lost. Oh, and then just very oddly drove to the extreme right-hand side of the road and fell off the road. I don't know if he was looking at something in the cockpit, adjusting something. It's not fiddling, it's adjusting. I just want to make the distinction there.
And we talked about how fast Renger van der Zande has been this weekend, but it is going to be Jordan Taylor who qualifies the car. It is Jordan Taylor, has a lap record around here from last year, a 1:16.853. We saw 4 cars underneath that qualifying lap record time. during practice 3 this morning.
Eric Curran to the top then. It's a good lap from Eric, but only for a moment. Jordan Taylor throws a 16 at the timing screen.
16.865, so that's just 12 thousandths of a second outside his pole qualifying lap record from last season. Purple in all 3 sectors for Jordan Taylor in the Konica Minolta Cadillac car number 10.
Robert Alon goes to second, but he's almost a full second behind Jordan Taylor. The 85 car in second for a moment as Scott Sharp takes a couple of tenths off Alon's time. 0.888 of a second behind Jordan Taylor. That'd be good news if he was in a Hong Kong casino. Very judicious numbers. Rather too many. Acuras haven't really put a lap in yet, Jeremy. They're working up to this a little bit slower, aren't they?
Yep, and the Masters.
Well, Colin Brown's just put the fastest centre section in.
Jonathan Bomarito in car number 55 up to second, a 1:17.279. Yeah,
it's going to be no good though, because Colin Brown's coming through, and Colin Brown has gone to the top. 1:16.774 for Colin Brown. You can give him 10 kilos, you can take fuel away, but you can't take his speed. But Jordan Taylor can.
Yes, he can. The 1:16.181, new track record for Jordan Taylor by a chunk.
Back up to over half a second of an advantage for the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Konica Minolta Cadillac. There's big gaps here, Jeremy. We're not used to seeing this. Nearly 6 tenths at the gap between first and second. Now, what of the Mazdas? Ollie Jarvis is coming through to improve. He's in the 77 car. Meantime, his teammate comes down the hill.
Taylor, that's for sure.
No, Bomarito not improving this time around. He's coming down to the final corner now in the Sol Crystal Red 55.
Jonathan originally from Monterey, California. Doesn't live here these days, but he loves this racetrack. Brought up here, always fast here.
Oh, hello.
Dane Cameron.
Dane Cameron in what really is his first proper flying lap. He's brought those Continentals up to temperature and pressure very much slower and more deliberately than anyone around him. And Elio Castroneves beats his time. So he goes to second position. Jordan Taylor still with 4 tenths, nearly 5 tenths of a second, but now it's Elio Castroneves and Acura Team Penske in hot pursuit.
Quicker lap here for Dane Cameron. Completed first sector. Here it goes up the hill underneath the VP Racing Fuels bridge.
Oh, turn 6. He's all over the curbs.
Everything up at turn 6.
There was nothing left out there for that. Not a half a mile an hour, not a tenth of a mile an hour. Could he have gone any quicker through there? Some drivers love qualifying. Dane Cameron is one of them.
Yeah, it's a good lap. Also a good lap here for Pipo Derani, who's super fast through the middle sector.
Here comes the Acura Team Penske car, 4th place at the moment. For Cameron, goes to second, and all of a sudden it's under 4 tenths, but it's still 4 tenths to Taylor, who's staying out there. He's doing a little bit of a slower lap.
Castroneves loses a little bit of time in the final sector.
That's a shame.
He's still third though, so it's Jordan Taylor fastest in car number 10. Then the 2 Acuras, number 6 Dane Cameron, number 7 Elio Castroneves. Pipo Derani up to 4th place in number 22 Nissan. Colin Brown remains 5th in car number 54, the Core Autosport Orica Gibson. Still ahead of the best of the Mazdas, but Jonathan Bomarito did improve last time around, a 1:16.9. Has gone quicker again, but not yet quite matching the fastest cars in that first sector.
Has got the fastest final sector to his name, though. That Mazda down the hill, very quick indeed. 6 minutes to go. And here comes the 55 Mazda Team Yost prototype. RTP24
or so here, I think. There's a huge cloud of dust left by whoever's ahead of him on the road. Was that his teammate? Here's Bommarito. Does improve, but remains in 6th position. 1:16.793, so it was that third sector. He wasn't able to match his previous best in that final few corners of the track. I wonder whether he was put off a little bit by that huge cloud of dust that had been left on the exit of turn 11.
Robert Alon is leaving nothing out there either in the number 85 JDC Miller Motorsport banana boat, the yellow submarine. No need for the periscope here. Perfect weather's been blessing us all this week.
And it was Robert Alon who was on the pole last time out at Road America. You know how fast he is on a single lap.
Lost 3/10 to his best time, more than that last time around. Looks like he's just beginning to struggle to get that car turned in.
And surprisingly, both of the Action Express Cadillacs, number 31 car of Eric Curran is in 9th position. Joao Barbosa, number 5 car, the Mustang sampling entry, he's down in the 11th. That is a surprise, 1.4 seconds off the pace of the Konica Minolta Cadillac of Jordan Taylor.
4/10 of a second on the field.
Great lap.
Still 4 minutes to go, Jeremy, so an opportunity to clean off the tyres, take a deep breath, have a bit of contemplation about where you're going to find the time.
Cooper Durrani, he gives up the struggle. He's on to pit lane. Colin Brown also. So the 4th and 5th place cars, number 22 and number 54, are on pit lane. I doubt, very much doubt they'll go out again. No one else, no other blue sectors here, no other improvements at the moment.
In comes Jordan Taylor. He thinks he's done enough, and with a 4/10 lead, I'm inclined to believe that he's making the right decision. Don't take any more than the 7 laps already completed out of the Continental tyres. So who's left out there who might be able to find something?
Quite a few cars coming into pit lane now.
ESM number 2 for Scott Sharp stays out there. Jordan Taylor fastest in sectors 1 and 2. Jonathan Bommarito improving in sector 2, but still 3/10 away from the very best time.
Yeah, and he lost half a second compared to Jordan Taylor in the first segment. He's still, even though it's an improvement in the middle sector, Bommarito is still 3/10 down on that brilliant lap from Jordan Taylor.
Dane Cameron puts his best centre sector in as he's working up to something else, is he? Wasn't particularly quick in the first sector. Meantime, bright red gains score number 99, the Red Dragon.
Rounding out the field at the moment.
Misha won't like that.
1.8 seconds off the pace. Doesn't seem to be pushing that car right to the exit curbing around turn 11, does he?
No.
He's losing a little bit of time there. 16.8 last time around for Dane Cameron in car number 6. His best a 16.5.
And he's right off it in the first sector here. I think he's turning that car in unless he's going to do one more lap. Huge tail slide coming through turn 3 for Elio Castro Neves.
Yeah, he'd just done a slow lap as well.
Well, he might have just overdone the right foot there. I'm not sure his first sector time's going to be anywhere near where it needs to be. Indeed not, already 8/10 away. He'll get that information through to his dashboard. He's got 1 minute and 43 left. He will get one more lap if he wants it. He may feel that he's already taken the best out of his Continental tyres.
Improvement for Oliver Jarvis in the Mazda. Car number 77 remains 8th fastest at a 1:17.3. For 1.1 seconds off the ultimate time and a half a second behind his teammate Jonathan Bommarito. First time here, of course, for Oliver Jarvis. Not the case for Jonathan Bommarito, the 2 Mazda drivers in this qualifying session. Difficult beginning to the weekend for this team. The number 77 car was not handing at all to Oliver Jarvis's liking, and the 55 car completed no laps at all in the first session with a turbo problem. It had to be changed for session 2 yesterday afternoon, but they certainly made big improvements in the second session and even big improvements this morning to set the 3rd fastest time for Oliver Jarvis, a 1:16.6, but Jarvis in this qualifying session hasn't come close to that. Not within 3/4 of a second. A 17.3 is his best this afternoon, where he did a 16.6 this morning. Disappointed by that. 17.2, another fractional improvement there for Jarvis, but he's still more than a second behind and in 8th place.
21 seconds to go. To coin a phrase. Elio's still on it. He's not going to get another lap in after this. A little bit of understeer coming down through the corkscrew and down into the left-hander that follows it. I don't think he's going to improve.
No, I don't either. He's just having fun out there, I think.
Checkered flag is in hand. It will be Elio who sees it first. He is loving his time in sports cars. Really enjoying the way that accurate Team Penske prototype works underneath him. And with no one set to improve, just looking at Ollie Jarvis, no. Certainly not improving enough to challenge pole sitter. It's going to be a Taylor family pole position. Father Wayne leaning into his son Jordan to have a quick chat there. And with Renger van der Zande being in such great form, you've got to say, Jeremy, all of a sudden, that leapfrogs that car right to the front of everyone's consciousness for the race tomorrow.
Yeah, second consecutive pole here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca then for Jordan Taylor. Also on the pole here in 2015.
Heads off down to have a word with Shea Adam, our Continental Tire pit lane reporter. Pulls up just beyond the bridge where the backdrop is waiting, and the ever alert IMSA official puts the chock behind the right rear wheel. Thank you, Richard, for that. And Shea Adam awaits what I'm sure will be a very happy pole sitter for Sunday's race. Just taking the helmet off now. That's not just Paul. He's put him out of sight, Shea. Almost 4/10 of a second on Dane Cameron.
It's quite the statement, John, for a team that hasn't won in more than a year. It's been 463 days as of tomorrow since Wayne Taylor Racing last won a race. Although it was a good one here for them last year with the podium finish. Ricky and Jordan basically cemented the championship, and they discovered this in our post-race tech show when we were going through the points with Jeremy. So good memories here at Laguna Seca for both the brothers, but for Jordan especially, another pole position. It just makes it a little bit more special. So we'll get him to zip back up his fire suit and get him to come over in front of the banner for the pole award ceremony. Got a nice hat for you too and everything. Well, Jordan, pole position at Laguna Seca. It's basically 2015 all over again. This time you just got to go out and win the race. Having Renger in the car with you guys have been doing so well this year. Is this the track where you guys can get the win?
I think so. I mean, obviously Renger had that spectacular finish here to win last year, and getting pole definitely helps. We've had a super consistent year, top fives every race, other than Daytona. So I think it's time for us to get a win and get a hold of this championship.
It wasn't just the pole position, though. I mean, it was the statement you made. It was 4/10 of a second over the Penske. So that's got to feel pretty good too. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's awesome to have Penske in the series and a team of that caliber and drivers of that caliber. So it brings a lot to IMSA. And to be on pole is I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of Cadillac. Gotta say hi to my Cruise boys back home, and wishing Sheena Monk well. She had the big crash earlier today, so hope she's okay, and hopefully we'll see her back soon. Good luck in the race tomorrow. It's about time you guys get another win. Thank you.
Shea Adam with our pole sitter for tomorrow's race. Add Cadillac to Chevrolet Corvette and to Acura, Katherine, Legge, Ollie, Gavin, and now Jordan Taylor, our pole award winners here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Thanks to Shea Adam and Jeremy Shaw. Quick final thought from you.
Yeah, it was Ricky that qualified the car on pole position last season, so my bad there, not Jordan, but he sets the record straight here. So his second pole here, as Shea was saying, he also was on the pole in 2015.
And a brilliant race in prospect with championship contenders all at the front of the field, and just one more opportunity after tomorrow to score points. Thanks for being with us on IMSA TV and IMSA Radio. I'm John Hindhaugh for the whole team at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.